What's up, my guys? Welcome to episode 5 of the My Guys Magic podcast. Unfortunately, Pete is not here today. He is traveling to California to go to a family member's wedding, so safe travels to him. But we do have a very special guest today that I'm excited to introduce. He really doesn't require much introduction, to be quite honest. Four-time Pro Tour competitor, multi SCG event winner. I think an SCG N boss by all accounts, an NRG team winner, and arguably one of his greater accomplishments is the 2021 NRG Champs winner. Also, stake aficionado, my boy Ivan Espinosa. Ivan, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me, Joe. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, dude. So another cue from RC Houston.
Yeah, I
Pretty.
mean, got got lucky. Got a chose right deck. Chose
Yeah.
good deck. Good matchups. The normal recipe.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Jeskai Blink, obviously, since Vinny took it down and you had that top finish, um, it's really kind of taken off. I mean, Misplaced Ginger picked it up. He's had some challenge wins. Obviously, a number of other people all around the world have picked it up and been taking down their tournaments with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, good shell, good players, and you see a bunch of different variants going around, and it just doesn't really matter. You have solitudes and consigns, some fables. Just whatever you feel like playing, and maybe just guy cards you own sometimes, but it's just really good.
Yeah, and I've even watched some people play a little bit online, and it seems like the card sequencing doesn't really matter sometimes. It's like you don't even have to sequence optimally, and you just like somehow still put it together. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have pitched Solitude there. Oh, but I have Riddler to refill my hand. It doesn't, I didn't actually, go down cards. Card
Oh,
advantage is fake.
yeah. Oh, there's a Flage and an Arena of Glory. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
whoops, yeah.
just a lot of powerful things going on. Well, before we kind of talk more about the upcoming RC and your thoughts on Jeskai Blink and other decks in the meta, I just want to hear like a little bit about your background with the game and how you got into it and what you've done. I listed a bunch of accolades, in your intro. Do you kind of want to touch base on any of that stuff? Feel free. So the floor is yours to kind of give us your background into Magic.
Oh, dang, well, all right. Well, I started playing back in, I want to say just before 2015. Uh, my local store, Shuffle and Cut, shout out. They always hosted these like Tuesday night drafts, and I think at the time maybe it was like Theros Born of the Gods draft, but I really enjoyed like that kind of aspect of Magic, just getting to like open packs and play with the cards and build a deck that was your own. Because I couldn't afford any standard cards at the time. I kind of just borrowed whatever decks my friends at the local shop had, and we'd go to PPTQs and stuff like that. But I never really did well, and then um, went to my first Grand Prix, uh, and it was Grand Prix Phoenix, and they had a Super Sunday series, and it was limited. So I ended up top eighting that and
Nice.
just getting to like show my sealed slash draft prowess in Theros Born limited. And I didn't win. I got second. Darn eye gouges. But yeah, but yeah, little callback there. So after that I was hooked. I was like, whoa, this is just a taste. I won like 3 boxes of Born of the Gods.
Right.
And unfortunately, I opened them all. Corsair Crew Fix back then, $15. But no, I was definitely hooked about on the traveling and the road tripping to events and getting to hang out with my friends and all that kind of stuff just at the events. And that was a new experience for. And I don't even think I was 18. And it just kind of grew into, okay, now I'm going to go to this Grand Prix and this Grand Prix, and I have this modern deck, standard deck. You have to just follow up with all the formats and keep up and keep playing and getting better and learning from the people around you. And thankfully in Southern California, there was a lot of events and a lot of opportunities to learn and grow as a player. So, from then till now, I think it's just a symptom of being surrounded by a community that, plays a lot of Magic and wants to get better as well. So, kind of
Yeah.
just got here because of that, and eventually it's a numbers game. You stop hemorrhaging money at these events and start, getting a little bit back here and there, and then eventually you're doing well at the majority of the events that you go to, and now the hotels and stuff are getting paid for by your finishes, and then you go to Pro Tour, and it all just keeps going. And happy to have a hobby that is one that is not super expensive anymore.
Right. Somewhat financially rewarding. Yeah, that makes it
Yeah,
better. Yeah,
and
I
then
mean, we sounds like a similar startup to a lot of people, right? We kind of get sucked in limited in some way. We're too young and too poor to do anything substantial with the game, and then we kind of slowly work our way into it. It's a
yeah,
familiar tale that we've all experienced for sure.
oh yeah,
So I think the bulk of what I wanted to talk to you about today is obviously modern. I don't even think we're going to touch standard. Obviously, whatever Vivi good, the standard meta needs to be corrected. It's going to be addressed here in the coming days with the ban. You want to give any input on what you think will be banned?
nope.
Yeah,
No,
probably.
I mean, look, it could be VV, it could be the Soul Cauldron, it could be Props. I think Props is the most broken card in that strategy. It's like you can
Yeah,
make a ton of mana, do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, Props is what's letting you capitalize on all of that stuff. So,
right.
um, but yeah, I mean, all three of those cards are just broken in their own right. Um, so it's the best deck it has been for a long time, and now there's really like no question
Yeah.
about it. So something needs to go, but whether or not they, preemptively try to correct whatever else is going on in the meta before like Avatar comes out, because when's the ban? Monday?
It is the 10th, which I believe yes is Monday.
Yeah. So I mean, they always do something. They could always choose what they want to do as far as preemptive bans. Like, are they getting rid of Screaming Nemesis or any other things that they think are too powerful for the format? Because I mean, Nemesis is really good, and if there's no VV to keep the red deck in check or anything like that, I don't know. I haven't played Standard. I sold my Cauldrons and VVs. Like,
Oh,
I'm
you
not
did. Yeah.
holding out hope for Pioneer as a format either, so it felt like there's really no reason to keep those cards.
Yeah,
So,
that makes me sad. I really enjoyed
yeah,
Pioneer. I really
I
did.
love Pioneer.
It's just and I don't know. I think obviously modern is the people's favorite, and I think Wizards sees that if they really want to, you know, drive sales for their product, then Pioneer really isn't the format to do it. It's going to be standard, and so I don't know.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
mean, it makes sense, but I'm sad about it.
I know, and there was like some I don't know whispers of like a Pioneer Masters thing, and I don't know if that's bull crap or what, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Whatever.
I'm just along for the ride.
Yeah, that's
They're gonna
kind
do
of
what they're gonna do. I'm still gonna play the game.
yeah. That's how I feel. One of my buddies kind of the exact same thing. Like the like universes beyond. You want to put Barney the purple dinosaur on these cards. Like I don't really care. It's I'm gonna still play
Yeah.
it. like
Like,
uh,
is it broken? I want to buy the full art foil version of it. It doesn't matter.
oh yeah, you
If it
with
gets
your
banned, I'll sell it.
with your the fanciest version, all of the most expensive versions of every single card in your deck.
Like, I
You,
like looking at them.
yeah, you're like, here, Joe, you can borrow this. I'm like, dude, I do not want to be responsible for this extremely expensive deck of cards. Like, I will just play something bad.
It's whatever.
Oh man. So I did a little bit, a very abbreviated data mining of what I would usually do. So I just looked at the Southeast Asia RC, um, the NRG 10K, and then the Laughing Dragon 20K.
Hmm.
You didn't go to the Laughing Dragon thing, did you?
No, I worked this weekend. I would have gone to
Okay.
the team event.
All right. Who would you have teamed with?
Initially, it was supposed to be me, Benji, and Vinny, and then Raja also hit me up because he really wanted to qualify for the NRG Championship. I mean,
Yeah.
so did I, but I got to work on Sundays typically.
Well, it ended up that Vinny Vinny what continued his streak and got another win out of it. So
Look, someone's got to do it,
yeah, dude. Yeah.
right?
And I think that he's kind of like, I don't know, the people's champion in a way. Like I think that people really enjoy enjoy him having the wins. Like he's a guy who's easy to root for.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, how is that roommate of yours doing, man?
He's good. He's at work right now. But
Oof.
yeah, we have like similar schedules, I guess. So we really only see each other at night. But like he works. He leaves the house around 11 and then doesn't get back till around 11 p.m. And then I leave the house around like 10 and I get back to the house around till around like 9. So it's he walks in, say what's up, and then we hang out on Discord. So
Yeah, I try to pop into Discord here and there, but man, it's
it's
just
so late by the
so
time
so late for me. So
you'd be
late.
there at 2 a.m. on Discord.
I know. I usually catch like the beginning and fall asleep very early compared to you guys, but
Yeah, I mean we both have Fridays off, which is cool. So
so there were about 500 players across those three events. 122 at the Southeast Asian RC, 163 at the NRG 10K, and 203 at the Laughing Dragon event. They were won by Jeskai Blink in Southeast Asia, Simic Ritual at the NRG 10K, and Is It Affinity at the Laughing Dragon event. Um, so, and then across the top 8 of those 3 events, there were 6 Jeskai Blink decks. There was one deck that was listed as like Jeskai Control, but I looked at it and it was essentially a Jeskai Blink deck that
yeah,
instead of, I think it had cut Felia for a little bit more interaction, but otherwise it was a Jeskai Blink deck with, I mean, it still played Ephemerate, it still was playing main deck and signs, it just wasn't playing Felia. So,
yeah,
and then there were 3 of each: Amulet Titan, Boros Energy, Is It Prowess, and Simic Ritual in the top 8 of those 3 events. And then a Belcher, an Etron, a Gruul Brood Scale, Is It Affinity, Is It Control, which was, kind of like this Tameo Subtlety Counterspell type deck, and then old school Orsov Blink. So, not the usual spread of data that we have typically, but I think it is a good snapshot. Kind of continues to show that Jeskai Blink is on the rise from previous events, and then your um, typical lists are still showing up. I think maybe one of the standouts that I'd like to talk to you about is this Simic Ritual deck. What do you think about that list? And you know, kind of going forward, how does it match up against Jeskai Blink? What do you think?
yeah. I mean, the deck started off as like what looked like a meme. It's like, oh yeah, you play Fibblethip and some Ice Fang Codals and Coiling Oracles, and you just kind of like get to Civic Ritual. And
Yeah,
then they started tuning it a little bit more, started getting a little bit higher win percentage, and then you're kind of like, wait, it's like I'm gonna lose to all these 1/1s that just drew a card because I can't resolve a spell
right.
and or cast my spells. Like they run Harbinger of the Seas, and it's like pretty potent right now, despite there being free removal spells in the form of Solitude and things like that. But yeah, it seems like it's winning tournaments. It looks like it's the real deal, and kind of have to adapt to beat it. So I mean, Jeskai I don't feel like it has a solid matchup against it game one, especially when we have our Ragavens in and they have a bunch of one power creatures
Right.
that replace themselves when they come in. Really bad environment for Ragavan, and of course you don't want to even remove one of those creatures because they are just up a card on you if you do that. So it's a bit complicated. I think you have to get a little lucky in the matchup and make sure you're keeping the birthing rituals off the table because they're. I think Carlo put it that they're playing with water guns until they get the birthing ritual out.
I like
Um,
that.
so that was a pretty good analogy, and that's exactly what it feels like. So that on top of like Abhorrent Oculus getting value and just not really being able to attack with Philia profitably because they can line up a double block or we never want to really be blinking their creatures. They all have ETBs. Just it's kind of a nightmare matchup to deal with. They could just trump block our Flage for infinity. But there's ways that we have to like get underneath them. We can Fable go off, or the backside of Fable lets us like go off a little bit. We can outgrind them with Riddlers and just make sure we have removal at instant speed for their Codals, so we're still able to get through. And again, keeping the birthing ritual off the table is a big deal. They suffer from not really having a ton of removal,
That's true.
and I mean they don't really need to run a ton of removal because they have the ground and the sky like pretty gummed up usually.
Yeah.
So they can just trump block until they can win in the air with Oculus or a hard cast subtlety. But yeah, I mean, there's ways to fight it. That deck is pretty consistent, but post board we have things like Wrath of the Skies that really help out, just sweeping up all their stuff in addition to Birthing Ritual. The tricky part, of course, is being able to resolve those cards. So let's just try to cast spells, bait out counter spells, and land a Teferi, and then plus the Teferi pass, and hope we can resolve a good Wrath of the Skies and then tap with Teferi in play. That's the real game plan.
That makes sense to me. And that actually brings up a question that I had for you when I was looking at I believe it was the NRG 10K, one of the lists that made the top 8. I'm pretty sure it wasn't running any Teferi, which, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've obviously never picked up the deck, but I've played against it and thought about the matchup quite a bit. And it seems like Teferi Time Raveler is pretty critical in the mirror because your opponent can't ephemerate, they can't, use any of their instant speed effects. I mean, and maybe it's only good like game one, but what do you think about that?
Yeah, it felt like and the reason why Vinny and I end up running 3 at Houston is because we realized when we're playing 1 to 2 Teferis, it's like, okay, we draw Teferi, it's very good. The game always became about how do I get this Teferi off the board, right? I have to use my Arena of Glories to like haste out my Quantum Riddlers and Philias and Ragavans or do these tricky things to try and answer it if I don't have a Prismatic ending. But it just turns off all your consigns. It makes your ephemerates really risky to use, and you don't get the full value out of them. We felt very strongly that this is closer to a 3 to 4 Teferi format than it is a 1 to 2 Teferi format. And so seeing somebody not running them, maybe they know something I don't, but that card's extremely important when it comes to stabilizing against a blink deck. So if you're playing Blue Eye Control or you're playing, Goryo's Vengeance, anything like that, you want to have Teferi against the blink decks, and it's one of your best tools to be able to stop them from, operating how the deck is built to operate.
Right. Yeah,
So
you can't like cheaply cast anything. You can't respond to these triggers, and that was so okay. So I'm glad I'm not crazy. Maybe this person just felt like I don't know. I don't know why. So yeah. So it's the the list by August Pearson.
mm-hmm.
It looks like they got top 4. It looks like, playing four ephemerate, so that's where some of the slots went, and then two subtleties main. So it looks like they from your list, or Vinny's list, it looks like
Hmm.
they cut a land, they have a Wrath of the Skies main, and then like a couple more ephemerate and subtlety main. But otherwise, it's pretty much the same list, minus the
Yeah.
Teferis. But yeah, I don't know. Like, obviously, Teferi isn't great against Titan, but there's some situations where it's not terrible game one. I don't think you want a lot of them game two, right?
No, I think our sideboard plan also has us cutting all the Teferis against Titan.
Yeah,
There's spots, and when we're on the play where we can bounce their Saga and, do some fun stuff like that, but it's not consistent and it's not what we want in the matchup. And it feels silly to play the Teferis into that matchup, but,
yeah,
they're there because it's not the majority of people who are playing the Amulet, you know? It's like a lot of, like, the majority of the metagame show right now is Blink.
right.
And I feel like we have plenty of tools to um, answer Amulet post board, and we're not a complete dog game one either, off the back of consigns and solitudes and things like that. So
What about because it looks like there's been a little bit of a surge or a rebound, if you will, in is it prowess? Like there's been a lot more of that kind of popping up. Um, it seems like
yeah,
it seems like Teferi's pretty good against that list as well, right? Like they have to
well,
interact main phase.
yeah, it can be. It's kind of a double-edged sword there, where are you going to have time to get it to fairy and play? Are they just going to go for it anyway,
Yeah,
like they have to because they're prowess,
right.
um, and ignore your Teferi? I mean, they can always like pick it off with lava dart and stuff too if you have to minus, which you know, typically
Usually don't.
you're trying to find like two solitudes and an ephemera in that matchup,
Hmm.
um, to try and like be alive into the bridging to flage turns. So Teferi to me is very bad game one, but games two and three where they're bringing in their unholy heats for your flages. Um, you really want to land a Teferi before you try to haste out a flage with Arena of Glory, and that'll typically swing the game enough to where you can win. Which it doesn't always put you out of range because they can just deal you like 20 damage in one turn.
Sure.
Especially the Is It Prowess players who know you know how to play against Blink really well. They'll just be stockpiling and they'll have just 6 cards in their hand like the entire game waiting for you to like slip up so they can kill you in one turn. Um, but yeah, Teferi's good in games two and three. Game one, it's they have too many mutagenic growths to like even consider playing around anything you could possibly have, and they just do it main phase and it still triggers prowess all the same. So
Yeah. So, although we don't see it in the top eight of any of these three events, Espergorios, I think back to the discussion we had with Vinny about, uh, I guess he made it sound like Gorios was favored against Blink. Is that true, or
yeah,
is it?
yeah, it is.
It is.
It's I want to say it's very favored. You have to have a lot of, I guess, experience in the matchup to like try to be able to, to win it, or I don't know. It's like it's difficult for jeskai. On the Thursday before Houston, the Thursday of Houston, we played in our Airbnb, I think 20 games of me on Gorios and Vinny on Jeskai Blink. And Vinny, it was a mix of pre and post board, but Vinny won 3 of them, and they're all post board.
Yikes!
And
Yikes!
I'm not exaggerating. Those were the numbers. Um, and Vinny's not bad. Like, he won a tournament with the deck.
Right.
Like, it was, you get to this point where, you know, sure, Gorios can operate as a blink deck sometimes, but if you are able to resolve the fairy and do your thing, like whether it be Atraxa or God forbid it's Griselbrand, like you have no answer, you have no recourse for them just drawing 7 cards and bearing you in card advantage. Doesn't matter how many times you like blink a Riddler or how many cards you stockpile. If they get to do their thing and you don't get to disrupt it, you're gonna lose. Like it's it's really difficult for Jeskai to consistently beat Goryo's. Um, but if you have the right tools in the sideboard, you have a better chance. Like running surgicals is um, one of the best way to do it out of Blink. Uh, you just have to make sure that you're timing it to where you're not caught, to where they thought sees you and force you to go for it, and then they Gorios it, or you like only leave up surgical, and then they have 2 Gorios in response. Like you, they have time. Like you're not applying enough pressure to Gorios ever um, to make it so they can't just build up one of these hands or just cast their Griselbrand or just cast their Atraxa. Consign is good against them, but in testing, I was playing Jeskai Blink versus Eli playing Gorios, and he kept Griselbranding me when I have Consign in my hand. And it
Yeah,
was just like,
I was
it was
literally.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Then it seemed like it's like, yeah, well, you can just consign the Atraxa trigger, but
Yeah,
that's why you said Gorios or I'm sorry, Griselbrand can be backbreaking because they can't consign that trigger, right? And
no, I look stupid with it in my hand. They have like 14 cards in their hand, and I just have like,
two
you
consigns
know,
or something.
yeah, I have 2 consign. There's been and a land,
Yeah.
I've just been waiting. But
Yeah.
they have inevitability in the matchup, and the only way as Jeskai I was able to beat them is by going in a super long game, playing the best I can at like my blink plan, and then when they ultimately go off, I have Atraxa covered, but if they go off with Griselbrand, I try to mill them with Ashiok, and that happened. It happened once, almost happened a second time, and then
Huh.
the other times Gorios just stumbled and did combo deck things where they don't find their combo.
Yeah. Thoughtseize Thoughtseize seems like um a pretty good way to find a window for Gorios as well, right? Like
Yeah, that card's brutal.
you
That
can
card is
just
just so good. Always has been.
yeah, because I mean, so unfortunately at the NRG Modern event, I wanted to play Titan on that day, but they were out of Ice Till Explorers, so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna play Blue White Control. And round one, I played Grixis Reanimator, which I've
Mm-hmm.
been told is supposed to be a good matchup for Blue White, but my opponent just thought seized me 3 times, and uh,
Yep.
that was enough. They went faithless looting into Thoughtseize into Unearth and Persist, and that was a wrap, unfortunately. So it just was like,
Yeah.
wow, this Thoughtseize card is really broken. So I could see that being very good too.
Yeah, it's like turn one Thoughtseize is very good, but like turn eight Thoughtseize is very, very good. You know?
Yeah, it just kind of helps them find a window and like take the most impactful card out of your hand, right? No matter what that is. I don't even know. Like I know that there's this kind of, I don't know if you want to call it conventional wisdom to take Thoughtseize out in mid-range mirrors, but it doesn't really seem like you would take Thoughtseize out as Gorios in against Jeskai Blink. Am I mistaken in that assumption, or
No, I mean you're right on the money there. Typically in mid-range matchups, you cut the Thoughtseizes because you want to just be, you know, getting your 2-for-1s in play and making them answer your like whatever you're playing.
right?
Um, and if you're playing something that draws a card, you're fine with that exchange. What you don't want to have happen is you guys are both on the same game plan and you're top decking, and which is typical in mid-range mirrors, and you draw Thoughtseize, and
Right.
you're in the point of the game where every person is just playing cards off the top of their deck. And it sounds like, there's some arguments where you're like, yeah, well, if you draw it early, like, you can just disrupt their game plan and like kind of pick everything apart. But in mid-range mirror matches, post board, typically everything's so value oriented. Um, that's never really going to happen. And it's not a combo deck where they need to have a certain like combination of cards to be able to get off the ground. It's just a mid-range deck where everything is just, you know, medium good at most points in the game. For Goryo's a little bit different because they can play that mid-range game plan, but at their heart, it's still a combo deck that's trying to, do the Goryo's thing. You know,
Yeah,
the name of the deck, like you got to be able to Thoughtseize that card,
exactly.
or use Thoughtseize to protect that card, that strategy. So, yeah, I mean, Thoughtseize is just good at all points because of the Thoughtseize equals like 7 cards in some cases.
Right.
Whereas in the mid-range mirrors, that doesn't equal 7 cards ever.
Yeah, you're just trying to find the piece of interaction that Jeskai Blink has that will ruin that plan for you. To like you said, provide open that window to get a bunch of cards with Atraxa or with Gristlebrand or yeah. So okay, that makes sense. That's kind of what I was thinking. I just wasn't 100% sure. Like, I obviously have no reps with Gorios, but I've seen it played a lot. So
Yeah, it's pretty strong right now, and it,
yeah.
it has a good blink matchup. So it's definitely a deck to be on the lookout for if you're piloting any type of blink deck.
Yeah, so what are Gorios's bad matchups? Like just of the main.
It's supposed to be affinity. It's supposed to not really have a good affinity matchup. And then Tron can be bad. It just depends on what type of like hate pieces they're playing because they can run Tormod's Crypts. They could have Graph Diggers cages, and we have prismatic endings, but we only have so many. And if they set it up well while they're trying to ramp into like Emrakul and things like that, it's like it can be difficult. And we don't have access to Charmaz like you know the Jeskai Blink does, or the Jeskai Blink decks have. So we're kind of on a clock, and so we're kind of just racing to try and get our combo in play before they can cast an Emrakul as Gorios. So I think that could be a difficult matchup. But again, we have like 4 consigns post board. But as we know, like Tron and Red Green Ramp, it just you can run 4 main deck consigns and they'll still just crush you. Like you need
Right.
you need like 8 of them or whatever, plus a clock to be able to like have a chance. Because they're just gonna keep casting spells that kill you until you die. So
What do you think?
um,
What do you think about Gorios's matchup against this Simic Ritual list?
I'm not sure. I haven't played Gorios against Simic Ritual yet, but I imagine just with the density of counter spells and the amount of time that Gorios would need in order to set up to play through all that stuff, the 1-1 shitters will have chipped us down a lot. And then, like, getting your Atraxa blocked by an Ice Fan Coal is not where you want to be.
That makes sense.
So just,
Makes
yeah, it
sense.
feels like on paper and, like, thinking about it and the ways to win, it just seems like it would be. I'd
Yeah.
rather be on Jeskai, even though it's like they're both probably not having a good matchup against Simic Ritual. But again, post board, there's Wrath of the Skies in the Gorios sideboard, and Frogs might be might be a different story because you can actually chip away at their 1-1s with your Frog, and kind of take some board control / initiative that way. But yeah, you really want to keep the Birthing Ritual the board as well, and I feel like Esper has less ways to do that than uh, Jeskai Blink does.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems. I don't know. It's kind of it's good to just see how seemingly even the meta is in modern, and that it finally feels pretty healthy and not like overly lopsided. Like
Yeah,
there's a lot of different strategies that are viable, and for the longest time it just seems like there was maybe only a few decks that were viable, and it's just like with each conversation my faith is restored in their ability to kind of manage the formats. So we'll see how that goes for standard into the future. But
Yeah, well, I also think they should unban Fury and Beanstalk, but
yeah, me and you both in that regard, dude.
gotta do what you gotta do. Play the decks, whatever.
Me and
Ugh,
you both, man.
take your deck.
Oh please, that had to be like the best. Just it was too good, honestly.
Yeah, it was too good.
So one other consideration, kind of speaking of standard, but we have one more set to consider in the modern format for RC Vegas. So I don't want to do like a deep dive into Avatar, but there's obviously been some cards that have been drawing interest from the community, and I just kind of want to get, I don't know, your take if you have any on any of these cards coming out of Avatar.
Oh God, let me pull up Mythic Spoiler. Hold on.
Yeah, so there's one in particular that I think a lot of people have been talking about, and it seems kind of crazy. People have been referring to it as instant speed Hydroid Crisis. Apologies if I butcher this, but Wan Shi Tong Librarian. So it's
Oh,
X blue blue. It's a 1/1. Flash, flying, vigilance. When it enters, put X +1/+1 counters on it, and then draw half X cards rounded down. And then whenever an opponent searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on Wan Shi Tong and draw a card. So whenever somebody fetches, you just flash this bad boy in for 2, and it's automatically a 2/2 draw card, like from one fetch. Like it seems pretty good, right? Like
yeah. It seems pretty good. Definitely one of those must-answer cards out of all the mid-range decks. Um, but finding a shell for it is going to be difficult.
I agree.
Like, obviously, the first one that comes to mind is going to be like the Murktide, like Blue Black and Grixis variants. But I mean, those decks aren't like stellar right now. Frog is wanting something to uh, Frog. The Frog archetype outside of Goryo's needs something to like make it better because Psychic Frog is just broken.
Yes.
But it nerfs itself by being blue black. So it's probably this plus another card away from being like a very good archetype again. But yeah, I don't for this. They just keep giving power creeping cards, give them different abilities. Look at that as vigilant. I wouldn't be surprised seeing this card like actually be good. I think it's going to see a lot of play at the beginning of the set, and whether or not it continues to see play after, or if it's just a flash in the pan.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I have no idea.
Right. We'll have to.
But it looks cool.
Yeah, I'm kind of bad at evaluating some cards as well. I mean, and this one there's a lot to pick apart here. I don't know. I haven't, to be quite honest, I haven't looked too deeply at this. I know that was one card that Carlo pointed out to me, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And and it kind of seemed crazy to me that it was a card, right? It's just like the floor on it in modern seems pretty good, but
Yeah.
but it's kind of hard to be sure. I don't know, a lot of interesting cards. I think that it'll be refreshing to have a Universes Beyond set that is not Spider-Man. Like Final Fantasy was pretty good. Had some decent cards in it. Obviously, Vivi was a little bit too much. So we'll see if this is impactful but still fairly balanced, and we'll see what else is going on. Somebody,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I'm a big Avatar: The Last Airbender fan. Watched this series like three times. So seeing them actually do a great job from what it looks like at making these cards, it's good. I mean, I would have would have liked a full-on SpongeBob standalone set, but you know, we get what we can get.
So there was a card that Pete brought up to me that seemed like it fit right in um, with Titan. I can't remember what it was, but there was like some sort of new combo. I thought I would be able to identify it here, but I don't think I. It's not jumping out at me in any of these cards. Was it a land?
Yeah, I have no idea. Does that have to do with Badger Mole Cub? I feel like it do. In the talk of the town for green people.
Badger Mole Cub? I don't think that was it. I want to like pause him and call him, ask him what it was so we can talk about it. But yeah, it seems like there's, figures Titan gets something else that it can play in its deck, right? Like just the range of that list is kind of crazy. A lot of, I don't know, there's been a lot more talk recently about banning Titan. I don't necessarily, I don't know. I don't try to get Titan to me doesn't seem quite bannable yet. I mean, the Simic Ritual list seems like it's pretty good against Titan. Obviously, there's a number of strategies and way to defeat Titan. I think that knowing the Titan lines and making sure you have the right interaction against them makes you so much more equipped to be able to deal with what you're doing. But you just have to know what their lines are, which is kind of hard in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like, I think back to the match in the NRG team event where, it was my teammate Matt who was on blue white playing against House of Mana on Titan, and they were in game 3. Unfortunately, they were about to go to time, or they had already maybe had gone to time, and there was a line that Matt could have taken. Basically, as soon as House of Mana played Ice Till Explorer, Matt's like, okay, I should solitude this with the mill trigger on the stack, right? My head was swimming. In hindsight, at the end of the match, Matt obviously should have gotten rid of the Ice Till Explorer, and I think that, unfortunately, it would have ended in a draw, but it would have been kind of a net win. So it's just there's just a lot of difficulty in knowing exactly the lines that Titan's going to take, and I think if you even have a reasonable idea of what they can do, you're much better equipped to respond to them. I think that's kind of half the battle. As hard as it is for people to play Titan, it's hard for people to play against it. But I feel like if you know what they're going to do, you can play against it a lot better.
Yeah, it's really lame having to go through their combo turns in your head, trying to figure out what they can do with the mana that they have if they have the cards in their hand.
Right.
And like evaluating that way. I would just rather the deck be banned and not have to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's just, why do I have to learn Titan to be able to like play against it? That shouldn't be the case. But
well, I mean, to a certain extent, you kind of have to know what all these decks are capable of doing, right? In order to play semi-optimally, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, 100% I agree. But having to
do it for Titan is like
to do it for Titan is just it's just egregious.
It's an egregious chore. Yeah. I can see that. I don't know.
I would just rather, it's long enough. Let's just get rid of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of become. We'll see how much more egregious it gets. I don't think it's. I don't disagree with you that it's annoying to play against, and some of the lines are absurd and convoluted and hard to follow, and yeah, but and it's just, maybe it's even more annoying when somebody tries to pick it up and they don't necessarily know what they're doing and they're like fumbling through it, taking 10-minute turns to try to figure out the combo, and then they realize, oh wait, I actually don't have it here. I've made a mistake or I've screwed something up, and it's just like, dude, maybe I should have just conceded, or Um, so I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully there's less of that at like the RC level, so you don't have to really worry about that. And then if they are like fumbling, you can always just call a judge. Kind of nice,
Yeah.
but like Emulate Titan at locals is like, oh man, it's rough.
What I think I even at RC Houston, I remember watching a guy on coverage. I don't remember who it was, but
Oh,
he honestly seemed to be fumbling through the lines. Um, and it was kind of like painful to see. I think he ended up getting it anyway, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was that player's like, you know, first major tournament with the deck, or, didn't really have the reps that some of the more um, competent Titan players have when it comes to the list. So I think
yeah,
that's
it's
what
true.
I'm most concerned about.
Probably a combination of that plus being on cameras, nerve wracking.
True, true. Yeah, it could have been that. Um,
But yeah, I agree with you 100%. Ban Titan. Wait, what were you saying about?
yeah, I think we'll see what happens, but
I don't think they're going to do anything about it. Honestly, probably nothing needs to be done. It's just a quality of life improvement for modern.
yeah, I mean it's. I know that you definitely have like a thorn in your side about it for sure from our previous discussions on the deck. You know, it's probably
Uh,
not as egregious as like grief or up the beanstalk in terms of like power level, but in terms of annoyance, like look, they banned Yorion, right? So if Yorion was banned because it was annoying, maybe maybe there's something to be said about Titan in that regard. But I don't know. All the Titan players out there right now are like cursing our name as we have the discussion.
yeah, they just don't want their precious deck be to be banned. I understand.
Yeah.
But look, they banned Simian Spirit Guide from Ad Nauseum, and I had to find a different deck to play. And
Okay.
then
Okay. Yeah.
they banned Fury from Four Color. I have to find a different card to play. They banned Yorion. They banned Beanstalk. Like just they banned the Amulet.
Yeah.
Make him play a different deck.
Yeah. Maybe they still just. Yeah. I don't think the deck survives if Amulet's banned. I don't think it can. I don't think it can survive on the back of like spelunking or that. There's that like blue green creature that
Yeah,
has the same.
the Wandering Minstrel.
Yeah, has like the same effect, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that's quite
people will
enough.
try, but double Amulet just kills you. So
Yeah, it's just an auto win for sure. Or yeah, I mean, double amulet is generally an auto win like through layers of interaction, whereas like a single untap, like if you have the right interaction, you can usually still beat Titan. But yeah, well, hey man, I really appreciate you coming and chatting with me today. I don't know
well,
if you want to kind of leave us with any final thoughts on Jeskai Blink or the modern format going into the RC.
well, thank you for having me. It's been awesome getting to chat with you. I like getting to chat with you, Joe.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Um,
Ditto.
but I mean, as far as Jeskai Blink is concerned, deck's obviously very powerful. There's a lot of different ways to build it, and I think that's one of the great parts about it, where you're not like you don't have to be married to a specific subset like set of cards when you're building the deck. You can kind of just play whatever cards you want in the deck. Um, that's going to conform to whatever you like whatever strategy you like playing best. You can make it a little bit more aggro, make it a little bit more controlling. Um, you can just kind of do stuff, and there's a lot of play to the deck. It's like very fun to play. It's very satisfying getting to blink a permanent.
Yeah,
There's like cute things you can do with like replicating the consigns. There's just
absolutely.
so much to do with the deck, and it just feels strong. Like I want to play it for um, RC Vegas, but I feel like there's going to be so many mirrors and stuff. I don't know. Like, I almost want to play Gorios, uh, but I feel like, you know, Vinny and I have put so much work into the jeskai archetype that it warrants us playing it for that tournament. So we'll see. Um, Nevertheless, I'll be updating um, our guide that we made leading up to Vegas. So still going to put in a ton of work on the deck and um, try to get a little bit more innovation out of it, or a little bit more testing to see exactly how to maybe get the mirror to be favored um, for us, whether it be some random card like Elish Norn, or just a different way of mapping out the sideboard to benefit um, one player versus the other. So I think it's good. I think if you want to do some winning, play it. If you want to do some messing around, play a different deck. You know, it's just like you said, the modern metagame is so like even. Like there's so many good decks, and the percentage that each deck is above the other is just so minimal that you can really just get a big edge by playing what you know. And I feel like that's always been the case with modern, where just play what you know and play what you're comfortable with, because you're just going to get a bigger edge out of that than picking up a deck for the first time, like um, Amulet or Ruby Storm or anything like that. To um, just play what you know. Sideboard a lot easier. Sideboard on the fly, especially with the full information of the sideboard
Yeah,
and main deck in the open deck list tournaments. It's just get rewarded for knowing what you're doing.
absolutely, absolutely. So, do you want to kind of share, your social media information and like Metafy stuff
Oh
for?
yes, of course. Let me pull up my Metafy. I don't know it by heart, but for my Twitter, it's at Ivan Pablo MTG, and then my Metafy is at Ivan Pablo. Metafy.gg / at Ivan Pablo. Um, yeah, I've put in at least 24 hours of work to this guide. Um, Vinny and I, we keep updating it we're going to be updating it every week until Vegas. Do a final Vegas update. We take Q&As that we've gotten, and we just post them in the updates or the Q&A section in the guide, in addition to always answering questions that people ask us, whether it's on Twitter, DMs, or straight through Metafy. A lot of people have been leaving us reviews on Metafy, and then they'll ask a question in their review, which is a good way. But of course, if you see us at the tournament, feel free to come up, ask us some questions, and we'd love to hear some feedback, more feedback from the community. It's been very, very positive, except for 2 people who left a 7 out of 10 review and no explanation.
Oh
Like, at least,
no!
you can give me a 3, but if you give me an explanation, I'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
As long as it's
7
defensible.
and no explanation. Come on, help me out.
Yeah,
We want to.
I have not seen the Jeskai Blink guide, but I've seen other guides you've put together, and they're always very well written, very well organized, thorough, detailed. You're not really left with this like illogical, unjustified decision. I feel like every consideration is made, and you know, and like you said, it's good that you're pointing out. If you do find some sort of gap that you have a question on, you can ask those questions on Medify. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to update it, as much as we can, and take the feedback from the community. And already there's been a lot of comments and questions, and it's really helped us make the guide more catered to what the community wants. And so it's nice, getting to write something cohesive like that, but also like the most gratifying thing is just hearing from the community, and them just pretty much gassing us up about how well written it is, and
Yeah,
how much it helped them. Like the Brazilian RC winner, he was playing Jeskai Blink. He bought my guide. The 6th place guy at the Brazilian RC also bought my guide. Reached out to me and said, "Hey, like, thank you. Um,
that's awesome.
I'm making the pro tour." And then the other guy's like, "Hey, yeah, thank you. Like, I'm at Worlds." Like, it's really nice to see fantastic players um, getting something out of the guide, and whether you're using it as like a baseline from starting, or just like trying to get some you know other thoughts on the deck. It's been awesome to see the overall overwhelming positive feedback from the community. So we're gonna keep it up and keep trying to stay on top of what's going on with the deck, with so many people playing it, and with Simic Ritual and or becoming more popular. It's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how it shapes up for Vegas.
Yeah, man. Uh, I agree. I think it's got to be great. I saw your post on Twitter where you shouted out all these people who did well at their events and kind of like you said, attributed a lot of their success to the Blink Guide. So that is probably one of the greatest rewards you can get, seeing all that success come from your
Sweet.
work. So
I just wish I could be playing these last couple weekends. I'm getting some FOMO, but Vegas will be the first opportunity I'm gonna have to play again. So it'll be nice.
Yeah, man. What, you gonna double queue now? You get to maybe pass down an invite or something if you do well again. So that's all right.
Wizards said they're gonna let me black hole the invite if I do. So I'm really looking forward to that.
You did.
It's been a long time coming. No, I want to queue for Worlds. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a lofty goal, but one that is not unobtainable. I think.
Absolutely.
So I'm just gonna work towards that. Try to play the best I can, prep the best I can, and then worst comes to worst, black hole the invite. So.
All right, man. Sounds good. Well, hey, if you want to get a hold of me, you can find me on Twitter at Joe_Mama_77, or you can find, the My Guys Magic podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Blue Sky. Kind of links all over the place. Still working on getting a Facebook set up, but that's all right. If you listen to us thus far, thank you so much. See you next week, my guys.